This is why you died.
Hello all and welcome back to season 3 of This Is Why You Died, the medieval torture chamber of horror movie discussion shows, where Judas cradles are kept oiled, the Catherine wheels are painted a jolly shade of black, and the thumb screws all have pet names like Thomas or Screwy. I am your red-blooded host, Sir Ian Dangerous, aka your Uncle Frank, and joining me are the man in the iron mask, Dan March of Madness, and the author of the definitive catalog of Torquemada's top 10 tantalizing torments, Ryan Ross Live. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back to the show.
I love me some alliteration. I have no idea what that was.
You got a tongue twister there. That was cool.
You've never heard Torquemada?
Who is Torquemada?
Torquemada, the great. Do not beg for mercy from the great Torquemada. Do not beg for your life from the great Torquemada. Let's face it, you can't Torquemada anything.
Oh my
come on,
God.
Mel Brooks.
Oh
Anybody?
my
Mel Brooks?
God.
No. Come on. No. History of the World Part 1.
God.
All right. We are the show that discusses films of the horrific persuasion that we choose based on prompts that we draw at random from the 666 words and phrases in our buckets of the beast.
It's been a good show, everybody. Thank you. Have a good night.
I swear, we're not normally this ridiculous. Actually, we are this ridiculous normally, but we do dial down into a show at some point. And we are back this week to discuss a bona fide classic, if you will, thanks to Ryan, who drew the prompt classic. So we got an amazing movie to talk about today, which should be a very interesting topic of conversation, not only because it's a classic, but because it takes place at a camp. And Ryan, as we know, Ryan, you were counselor for how long?
7 years.
7 years.
7 years.
Wow.
I worked my up from a counselor all the way to the program director in charge of all the staff.
Oh my God. You were the dude with the porn stash in this movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that, but yes.
Wow.
Functionally, sure.
Are we? And so now we're now past the statute of limitations, so we can talk about the things that happen to you at camp. So this is great. This is perfect timing. But before we get into the movie today, of course, we do need to do our opening stuff and get things out of the way here. We've got news. We've got the March a Minute. We have all sorts of things to discuss. So let's get right into it and do the horror news. Horror news. That's right. What is happening indeed? We got a couple things today. Ryan, I'm actually going to have you lead today because let's do some horror video game news. What's going on in the world of horror video games?
So I have kind of two different pieces to our horror video game news today, but I will say one of them I don't know a ton of the details on because as of recording it hasn't come out, but as of release it will be out. So I'm going to kind of touch on what I can. But so Phasmophobia, which for those who don't know, is essentially a first-person ghost hunting game that's been in early access for 6 years. It basically came out during the COVID era. And blew up, became a genre-defining game. I think we've talked about it a little bit on the show before. But they finally basically announced this year that they would be coming out of early access. They'd be launching their main game. They were adding character customization and new maps and all of this stuff. And last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago from release, they released a character creation update that everyone had been very much like character customization, which everyone had been very excited for. And they had some engine updates. They have new animations for how people interact with objects. And everyone was very, very much looking forward to it. And it is very rough. It it does add customization. You have a lot more options, but it broke a lot of the multiplayer aspects of the game, which is how most people play the game is with their friends. And so
did it made it unbalanced or like what?
No, like objects will fall through the floor, or people are able to walk through closed doors, and like you can't. The whole game you're trying to communicate with each other, and it has in-game voice communication. Sometimes that just doesn't work, or somebody will die and no one can hear them, and so there's like very funky stuff that really interrupts the game. They also have like cursed objects, so you can find like voodoo dolls or a monkey's paw or different things that can like affect the game, like alter the round that you're in pretty significantly. totally broken. They're supposed to be like, a lot of them have voice activation capabilities, and cannot activate them. They will not interact. You have to like set your game to text-based to be able to like actually trigger them. It's super broken and people are very upset. And what makes it worse is that this week, which is the part that hasn't quite come out yet as of time of recording, they have their first major collab coming out with Alan Wake. And Alan Wake has partnered with Kinetic Games, which makes Phasmo, has partnered with Remedy Games, which makes Alan Wake. And they're doing an Alan Wake themed event where they have essentially Alan Wake writing like a narrative of the match that you're playing within Phasmophobia, which is a super cool concept.
That's a cool idea, yeah.
But the game's really broken right now, and everyone's kind of hoping that they would hot fix it, and they were basically like, no, we're going to fix like half of it in the patch with the event. And so people are upset.
Half of it? How big is their development team?
It's a small-ish team, but the game's been out 6 years and made a lot of money, and so they've had the opportunity to expand and haven't. And so it's definitely in some hot water with fans right now, and people are really kind of raging on like, hey, everyone was really looking forward to this, and you hyped it up, and then now it's not delivering.
What's the second part of this? Is there like an upside?
The cosmetics are there. You can you can change your clothes now.
Oh, good.
You used to be able. You used to just be able to change your body and face, and it was all preset. But now you can change clothes.
You might fall through the floor into a never-ending abyss, but at least you look pretty doing it.
And you can see your sanity on a watch and how long you've been in the house.
Awesome!
Isn't that great? Isn't that worth breaking the game for?
Yeah, you might need to go to like your root disk to be able to like text in what it is, but you at least your sanity's there.
It's
you
fine.
You can watch your sanity meter go off the scales because of how bad the game is now.
You can watch your time tick down while you desperately try to communicate with your teammates and watch your fate slowly close. Well, they can't hear you. So
that's brutal.
Very rough spot.
Okay, maybe we don't play Phasmophobia on a future patron episode. Maybe.
Hopefully they fix it by then if we were to.
Hopefully they fix it by then.
So because I'm not as well versed in the video game stuff as you guys are. When they change the game now, is it just you can't go back to like a previous version that actually works? Is it now just like you're playing just a broken game across the board, or? So
generally they could, but it would look really, really bad, and most developers aren't willing to do that. And so instead they release the thing hoping it works. If it's broken, then they release additional fixes until it gets to normalcy. Very rarely, especially in terms of like adding new features, do people roll new features back to get back to something old if something's broken. With a handful of exceptions. Because usually those things are systemic. They're adding new systems. So removing those systems to get back to an old one is a lot harder than just being like, we've already plugged the thing in, now we have to tweak the thing that we've plugged in.
Got it.
But then people have to stare at the big ugly thing that you've broken for the entirety of the duration, which is difficult.
Yikes. Maybe they need to take some notes from the Korean developers over at Crimson Desert, who have been god tier to me. But in some more happy news, we did get an announcement this week that A Quiet Place Part 3 is underway. John Krasinski is back to write and direct and produce this, the third in the original trilogy. They've released 3 movies so far, Quiet Place 1 and 2, and then Quiet Place, the
Day 1.
Day 1, which was like the backstory, the origin of when the aliens came to Earth, and with Lupita Nyong'o. But even with just 3 installments, the franchise is about $900 million. So I think no matter what, dropping this 4th one's going to make it $1 billion franchise. So good for Krasinski. Did some good work there.
Wow.
But Dan, I'm assuming you've seen Quiet Place. Oh, and Emily Blunt? Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're
big time.
Yeah. Goals.
Big time. Dan, have you seen all 3?
I've seen all 3. I still think the first is probably my favorite. The connection and the storyline that John Krasinski's character has with his daughter, that father-daughter thing, it like kills me every time, like what he does. I
The
won't
first
give
one's
it away, but like
very, very good.
yeah, very good. The second one I think I liked, but it was, it wasn't as strong. And then day one actually surprised me. I thought that there was actually some very like emotionally touching moments. It never got to like, I was never wowed by it, but I thought it was like a nice little offshoot of a storyline. So
I understand why they made sequels to it. You can't have a horror movie make that much money, and the studio's going to be like, "We're good." No, we're good. They're going to want sequels, and I think they've done as best they can with it. The one thing that does give me hope is that yes, Emily Blunt, Millicent Simmons, Noah Jupe, and Cillian Murphy are going to be coming back for part 3, but they're adding Jack O'Connell, who you might recall from Sinners as being the main vampire.
Yes,
and he was also recently 28 years later, part 2, and of course he was also for those old school heads, Eden Lake.
I've heard.
God! And then he's also being joined by Jason Clarke, and Katie O'Brien. So
wow.
Good additions to the cast.
Opening
Quiet
up the
Place
world.
Part 3 going to be coming out a year from this July, so 2027.
Well, that's pretty quick.
Scheduled.
Yeah,
quick turnaround. So Quiet Place coming up, and also coming up on this here very show, a little segment we've introduced in this here season. We have our very own Dan March of Madness take center stage, get on his soapbox and rant for a full minute straight. We make this man talk. We make him speak up about something that's on his mind. Dan, are you prepared to rant for the March a minute?
I don't know if I'm going to make it within the minute, but I have my rant. I have my topic. I'm ready to go. I don't know if Ryan's going to show me the watch this time.
No, you're going blind.
Oh my God.
You're going blind this time, Dan.
It's going to make it worse. It's okay. So it could be a fumbly mess, but let's get it.
That's the point. All right, Dan, get ready, get set, and let's go on the Dan March a minute. Go, Dan, go.
Okay, I would usually say that like younger generations, like the youth is going to, they're ruining it. They don't get it or whatever. But I am going to say that right now the youth are elevating, saving, transcending, pushing horror into a new direction. We've got 2 20-year-old directors that are coming out with movies this month that we're recording. But we have Backrooms and we have Obsession coming out, which both I hear are incredible. They're both made by 20-something one of the Backrooms guys 20 years old.
30 seconds.
The other ones, there was a photo that Mr. Jason Blum of Blumhouse took of these two guys shaking hands at probably the first time they've ever met. And he basically said, like, the internet has raised the next generation of horror creators, and I definitely believe that. I'm very excited for these voices that are coming out. I think they're going to give us this brand new look, a new taste of horror, maybe new subgenres that we can call. But I'm very excited for the future of horror. Horror is here, and it's getting better and better each time.
Oh, that's it. Dan brings the plane in for a beautiful landing. And a very positive March a minute.
A positive and not a little bit of a meandering March a minute this time around.
I got it.
I thought it was right on target. Very nice, Dan. Well, lovely March a minute today. That was
I didn't want to be negative. I'm excited. I'm excited for these kids.
You've warmed the cocks of my heart. I mean, the cockles of my heart. So that was awesome, Dan. Thank you very much for that. And I think that it is time. I think that with that being said, it is time for us to get into the guts, if you will, of our show, because it's brought to you today by our very own Ryan Ross Live. Ryan, remind him again, what was the prompt that you got and what movie did we watch in preparation for this show today?
So I got classic, and I'll skip the suspense because I feel like it's we have a funny thing to touch on. I picked Friday the 13th. I picked Friday the 13th because we've already watched a couple Halloween movies. I personally have seen Nightmare on Elm Street. And there's another. And
like one of all the horror movies that you've seen. That's the one.
Well, that and like Beetlejuice.
That's not.
It's horror adjacent.
It's not a
tiptoes. We've watched Scream, and so really like out of the classic slasher killers, we've watched Texas Chainsaw, we watched Psycho, we've watched all these like classics. We haven't watched any of the Friday the 13th movies, and so I was like, let's go watch a Jason Voorhees movie. And I forgot that I did know I had forgotten that the first movie doesn't really have
Are you gonna reveal any spoiler territory yet?
This is 40 years old.
I mean, to be fair, like, Dan, this is something that Gene Siskel actually revealed in his review of the movie in 1980 in order to hurt the box office. He hated this movie. He and Ebert just... He was so mad at this movie. He was like, this is why the kids are going wrong, is crap like this. God. It's garbage. You know, Sean Cunningham is one of the worst people to ever exist. He was... Siskel was pissed at this movie. Yes. He hated it.
All right, so go for it.
So, and it's like a major plot point in Scream. Yeah, so true. Ryan, so let's do like a minor spoiler warning, not like a full spoiler warning.
Minor spoiler alert. Jason's
if you don't know this by now, what are you doing on our show?
Really in this movie.
No,
he's kind of in it. He's in it for like a couple seconds and a couple scenes.
Yeah.
But he's not really in the movie.
No.
And so we didn't really get the classic slasher I had intended.
But it's a classic movie.
It still fits the prompt. It triggered a franchise.
It did.
It just, I stumbled into this one.
No, and this is the thing though, Ryan, like, pick your head up, my boy. Like, it was actually something that once you said that, I was like, no, this is a fantastic opportunity to talk about what was going on at the time this movie came out and why this movie, of all the movies, became that giant franchise with Jason the way he was. Like, how did we get from here? Because it's kind of a fascinating example. It's kind of it's like the dyed-in-the-wool typical proto-slasher, right? This is a slasher movie. It came out directly in response to Halloween. Like, Sean Cunningham saw on Halloween, he's like, I want to make that movie for like nothing. Let's work up a script. I
didn't realize it was in response. That's news.
Direct response. Yeah, he's like, oh my God, you can make just a movie with a guy walking around killing teenagers and make millions and millions of dollars on a shoestring budget. Fuck yeah, I'm in.
And then he did.
Like, he just told his buddy Victor Miller to write a script and like base it on Halloween. And then halfway through writing it, he was like, I really like the name Friday the 13th. He just picked it out of the air. He's like, an unlucky day. That sounds like instead of Halloween, right? What's another day, like a holiday or something we can base a movie around? It's Friday the 13th. And he took out an ad in Variety because he did not know if the name Friday the 13th for a movie had been taken. So his way of finding out if anyone's going to be mad about it was before the script was even done being written. He took out an ad in Variety saying Friday the 13th coming next year, scariest movie ever. And he had no movie.
Oh my God.
He took out this giant full page ad to hype up the movie and was like, okay, is anyone going to sue me?
Wow. And
that's the strategy.
And funnily enough, someone did. They were making a movie called Orphan, the Friday the 13th. And they basically, the production groups got into a discussion about it, and they paid some money and they kept Friday the 13th. And now Orphan's just called Orphan. And Friday the 13th kept this, multi-million-dollar name.
Wow.
So worked out well.
That's wild.
In the end. That's also why in this movie, what the fuck does Friday the 13th have to do with anything?
Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
It's to be fair, it is the ominous, like, well, we should get the spoiler warning out.
Yeah. All right. So that's enough preamble. We're going to talk about Friday the 13th today. It's going to be a lot of fun because Ryan went in totally blind, which is a great way to see this movie. If all you know about Friday the 13th, the franchise is Hockey Mask Killer Guy. So it's fun to talk about this. And a lake. There's a lake. Yeah. And there's teenagers, lots and lots of teenagers. So let's go right ahead and knock out the spoiler warning.
Spoiler alert. All spoilers, including character deaths and plot twists, are now authorized. You have been warned.
Bam, bam, bam. There it is. Okay. So yeah, really, like, who's getting spoiled by this? All right.
Yep.
But we got to do it. We got to do it to be safe. Dan, I got to know, what is your experience with the Friday the 13th franchise and with this particular movie especially? Because especially with these franchises, I know a lot of times some of the, like, quote unquote lesser movies in the franchise get watched less. Like, I have not watched this movie as much as I've watched other numbers in the series.
I feel like I watched the first one years after seeing a bunch of the other Jason ones. Like you see, like, I remember seeing like I think like New Beginning is at 5. You know, I remember seeing like 4 or
Yes.
5, somewhere around there. There's one with Corey Feldman. I remember seeing that one. Or that's 3. See, I don't even know.
No. There are 3
Oh.
of them: the 4, 5, and wait, I don't forget if season 6 or not. But that's the
Okay.
trilogy: is 4, 5, and
Got
6.
it. So like I remember seeing those, and then I remember seeing like Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yes.
And then when it was not Friday the 13th anymore, of course, like with Jason, then I've seen like those other things, like the Jason style movies, you know, where it was like Jason X and Jason Takes Manhattan, when they couldn't call it Friday the 13th anymore.
Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah, I saw those.
One of
and
them was
then, of
called
course,
The
I've
Final
seen-
Chapter, and it was from 1984.
Yeah, it
That's
was not
number
the final
4.
chapter.
That's the
yeah.
4th movie.
It doesn't seem very final of a chapter.
No, and he
Yeah.
came back the next year in
Right.
A New Beginning. Yeah,
So
And it's
Amazing.
it's ironic because the final chapter came out in what was considered kind of the end of the golden era of slashers, and then Nightmare on Elm Street came out the next year, and it's kind of interestingly enough, like that's where the franchise slashers begin and the traditional classic slashers end in terms of like major dominance of the horror market. Is that turnover point is when all of a sudden Jason starts coming back, and then he's the killer that can never be killed.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the franchise really turns, because Jason's the killer in 2 and 3, and he gets the hockey mask in 3. He's wearing a bag in 2.
Bag in the 2.
Spoiler
Yeah.
alerts for other movies.
Yeah, spoiler alerts for all of these other classic horror movies. But yeah, so he comes back again and again and again at a certain point, and that's when it becomes the franchise slashers, and that's when it becomes a whole different animal than the traditional slasher, which is what the first one is.
Mhm.
Yes.
A traditional dyed-in-the-wool slasher with even like a plot twist about who the killer is.
I mean, there was like it felt a lot of like, what am I thinking of? But the before slashers, what the Italians did.
Giallos.
Giallo. It felt like I was like, there's
Absolutely.
so much Giallo in this movie, more than what the Jason franchise becomes, of
Mhm.
course. Like, that's what you're thinking that this movie's going to be. And you're like, no, this started it. So it like grew into that. But like, this is very much like, there was just moments that felt like Hitchcockian, and just like, there's just so much in this that's not like what you think of as Jason, you know?
Yeah.
So it was very refreshing to watch it again and be like, oh, this is very different from what I
Yeah.
remember when I saw it the first time when I was a lot younger.
Yeah, it really
So-
rips off the Giallos. That's a great call.
Yeah.
Like the point of view of the killer, and like the
Mhm.
nubile young woman he's slashing their throats and everything with an
Exactly.
specific.
Yeah.
Very, very much. Well, Ryan, how did this movie? What expectations did you have for this, aside from Jason being in it? And like seriously, what were your expectations for it, and how did it subvert those?
I didn't really know what to expect, because the thing is, like, I know of Jason, right? I know of Jason as this monolith, and like you guys kind of hinted, and then I was reminded, oh shit, I remember that the first one isn't actually Jason, and it's Jason's mom. But like, I didn't know anything about how that worked. I don't know a ton about Jason as a character other than his identity, and like, I know less about the franchise than I know of Jason. Most of what I know from Jason is through just general pop culture representation of just like his physicality. And then also,
Which is what? What is that to you? What do you know of?
big
as that?
hulking bear of a guy, usually has a tomahawk or a machete and the hockey mask. And he does the that's about all I knew. And he kills people. And like, literally the extent of my experience, I knew there was a Friday the 13th game. I never played it because I had no attachment to the franchise.
Mhm.
And granted, I work at Warner Brothers. We made Multiverses, which was essentially a Super Smash Brothers fighting game with Warner Brothers characters, and Jason was a character in it. So I saw his kit and his moves, and I know a lot of them are based off of different things from the movies. If he scoops somebody up in a sleeping bag, he's got the machete. He can kind of like sometimes teleport places, and he's got like one big like tomahawk thing. And then they had a Jason in space skin, but
It's a fire axe, I believe. But yes,
okay, well, tomahawk, fire axe,
tomahawk, fire axe,
shape of
close
axe,
enough.
hand axe.
Yes,
And
or like a hatchet. Is he like the little like camper's hatchet? Which one? Is it big or is it small?
It was. You're just asking me to describe a downward swing animation of an attack. Like it's,
All right, fair
it's an
enough.
axe that is
Did he
one-sided.
did he turn into Space Jason X in this game?
He had a skin for it. You could equip it.
Oh, cool.
And
that's
so-
cool.
Cyborg
but, like,
Jason.
I think one of the iconic ones that people pointed to was one of his moves was that you could scoop people up in a sleeping bag and drag them along places, and
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah.
then axe them.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of axe machete moves.
Yes.
And
There's a very,
stomp. He had
very-
a curb stomp too.
Famous sleeping bag kill in one. I don't even know which one it is, but like I know that's a pretty famous.
He does it twice. I think he calls back
Oh,
to it
does
in
he?
Jason X.
Oh,
in
okay,
Jason X
well-
even, yeah. I believe so.
Oh,
Not as good as the sleeping bag kill in Prophecy, by the way. And that's Prophecy, not The Prophecy. But I digress. Ryan, so that's interesting that is what you know of, is just
That's all I
basically
knew.
Jason being the giant hulking, undead dude
Yeah.
with the machete.
I didn't even know he was
And-
undead. I knew he had something to do with the lake, and like
Mm.
well, that's
actually
the thing.
we talked
It-
about.
the-
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish now.
I was going to say, like, Phasmophobia has a reference to him on they have a campsite map, and you can go at the end of the dock, and if you look down into the lake, his mask floats up as
Oh,
like an
that's
Easter
fun.
egg for
That's fun.
Jason. But like that's all I
Nice.
knew.
So
Oh.
it's interesting, Ryan. So just to give you kind of an idea of where things went. I mean, you see how basic it was
Mhm.
at the start. You just have some counselors who are going to reopen a camp where a tragedy happened 20 years or 25 years before, 58 to 80. So 22 years, math.
Yeah.
And then the whole point is that something bad had happened there. This poor lady's son had drowned while counselors were busy fooling around, and she blamed the counselors and went nuts and killed them. And it's a tragic story of a lady losing her mind and becoming, like morbidly obsessed with
Mhm.
this and coming back and getting revenge and then getting her head chopped off as a result. And so it's kind of a tragic story, right? Like Jason was this poor kid who drowned in the lake, and the mom was this poor person who lost her mind. That was
Mhm.
the story of the movie. And Victor Miller, the writer, actually hated where the franchise went, because he's like,
Oh.
Jason's a victim. Like,
Yeah.
he's not the killer. Like, he's this poor kid. Even though, because in the original script, there was no Jason coming out of the lake at the end.
Mm.
That was Tom
Oh.
Savini's, the makeup guy who did this, and he also did Dawn of the Dead, and he did he's
Yeah.
in a few movies that we've done. The legend Tom Savini did the special effects for this, the gore effects, and he
Oh.
did the Jason that comes out of the lake, Ari Lehman coming out of the lake and grabbing her. He had seen Carrie, and he's like,
I
"Dude, we
knew it was
have
a
to have-
Carrie. Yeah.
we've got to have that. Everyone thinks
Felt
it's okay
so
at the end of the
Carrie.
movie, and then we jump them, we scare them out of their seats at the end of the movie. That's the only reason it exists. It's the only
Wow.
reason Jason has this whole franchise, is because Tom Savini said we got to scare him at the end of this movie.
So
it makes no
because-
fucking sense.
No, it
So you're
doesn't.
saying because of Carrie, we have a Friday 13th franchise.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean, so many weird little things that made
Well-
the franchise happen.
I also feel like there's like a really direct Psycho reference with the way that she's like basically mimicking his voice of like
Oh yeah,
basically ventriloquizing. What is the
quotation. Yeah,
what was
I know
the
you're-
Well,
verb
they
for
say, don't they call it
ventriloquism?
Close enough.
throwing your voice?
Throwing your
It's
voice,
like
yes.
Throwing voice, yeah.
Throwing her son's voice as a separate entity that's speaking to her. Very Psycho element.
it's an inverse
Yeah.
Psycho, right? Instead of
Mhm.
the son being alive and crazy and thinking he's the mom and the mom's
That's
dead.
cool.
It's the
It's
son
the
being
mom.
dead and the
Yeah.
mom's crazy and thinks that. And
That was
he's
one that I caught while watching. I was like,
I
oh, that
didn't even
feels
think of
directly
that.
Psycho.
Yeah, inverse
Wow.
Psycho. And Ryan, you called it that. You still call it the ch-ch-ah-ah. That's
Yeah.
actually so. Harry
the
Manfredi,
soundtrack.
the guy who did the soundtrack, when you hear that, right? This is now like old horror lore. That's
Mhm.
actually kill ma, right? Kill kill them, mommy, kill them. That's Harry Manfredi, the composer, into a microphone with effects on it, going kill for mom, kill for mom.
Oh, that's
Right?
cool.
Kill
That's
them, mommy,
wild.
kill them, mommy. It's kill, mom.
Yeah.
So it's all thematically linked.
That's
But then
cool.
how the fuck do we get to giant zombie Jason from this?
Yeah.
It's so bizarre, right? It's such a bizarre evolution, the way things have come from this movie. right? It's
Well-
fascinating to see where it comes from.
Well, I mean, if the response was supposed to be towards, Halloween, they didn't give us that villain that like Halloween immediately gives you this Michael Myers guy dressed up, whereas like
Right.
when you reveal that it's a mom, where do you go from there? If that's what they're
Especially
trying
when you kill
to
her off.
Yeah, so it's like it's like
And
if
they
it was
killed her
like
the
they're
fuck
making
off.
they're making this movie in response to that, and yeah, but they're also not like they really tried to cut off the end. Like this is the only one that we're making then, except for that thing, the jump scare at the end, which was like not even thought of.
Well, but this is
So-
before they thought of franchises. Halloween 2 wasn't out yet. Like they didn't do franchises for these. Like you can kill everyone off at the end, and that's it.
Okay.
There was no.
So
Psycho
Halloween
2 at
2
that
was
point.
what, 2 years after the first Halloween, or
No, Halloween 2 didn't come out for a couple years after this.
Oh wow, that long.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a minute. It was. And it was.
Okay.
Halloween
it
2 was 1981.
A year after this. So there you go.
Okay.
And that's when the franchises started. This became a thing where they wanted with this one to put it out every year, right? Which is what they initially wanted to do with the Halloween movies, is put them out every year. And like when they restarted it with Halloween 2 and then 3, they were trying to do it yearly because they realized Friday the 13th was doing that. And they were starting to come out with movies yearly and pumping them out. And that's when, as it evolved, the idea of Jason being unkillable and keeping on coming back. That's why it was kind of good. They could kill him off and bring him back. Like, how do we bring him back this time? Right. That's how it evolved. That's why he ultimately became undead, because they killed him off in so many damn ways that at some point you just have to admit that he's undead.
Yeah.
It's a problem with Michael Myers, right? At a certain point, they're like, okay, this guy can't take this much damage and be human.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Out of-
Michael Myers' strength has always been that he is human. Jason, they got away with it at a certain point.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity,
Wow.
is it ever like explained why he's undead or that he's undead, or is it just implied?
Kind of. It's still ultimately like it's just because he's undead. Like there's like he's a zombie essentially, right?
Mhm.
Like the
There's no like
evil
spirit
forces.
of vengeance or some shit.
Did
They
Freddy
explained it a couple different ways. Yeah.
Did Freddy and Jason that movie try to explain any of the backstory of Jason, or no?
They just like in that one. Remember, his whole explanation was you just don't die, do you?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Okay.
He just can't die.
Right.
But he just lives at the bottom of the lake of Crystal Lake. And even though he's afraid of water for something, whatever. And that we'll get to that movie one of these days on the show. But
He lives at the
Right.
bottom of the lake?
Yeah, well, it depends on what canon movie you watch. There's some where he like lives in the bottom of the lake, he's chained at the bottom of the lake or
Mhm.
whatever. But there's other ones where he just like roams the woods of Camp Crystal Lake. But
I mean, that would
That's
make more sense, but like,
it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You'd think that
roaming.
like he'd be afraid of water, but there's very rare times in the movies where he's actually shown to be afraid of water
That's
until they
true.
made it a thing in
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason.
He can usually like attack people from under the water too.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that's where he drowned.
But
Yeah,
also,
that's
if
good-
he's chained at the
very
bottom of the
good
lake, how
points.
does he get out?
Well, it's
amazing
through
question
various
you're asking.
convoluted plot devices based on the movie, Ryan.
Okay.
We'll
of
get
course.
to those. We'll get to those. We're still on Friday the 13th part 1. This is the thing. Look at
Yeah.
the fascination that the character of Jason has. And how, like, we're not even talking about the movie that we're here to talk about because we're too busy talking about this guy over my shoulder here,
Yeah.
Jason.
Well, he's
The
become the
character.
icon to the
Right.
point that I mixed up the fact that he wasn't in the movie that we picked. Like,
Right.
he
Right.
has become the franchise, and it puts the first movie in an odd position because it's what triggered it all, and it's what it all stems from. But it kind of sits outside of its own identity in a weird way.
But it also, in a way, it stood out from the other slasher movies of the time as well. And I'm wondering if you guys picked up on like some of the ways that it stood out. Like what about this movie for you guys was in some way exceptional, or like that you picked out like, oh, that was a really good something or other, a really interesting aspect of the movie. Was there anything that like jumped out, or was it just like kind of a dyed in the wool slasher for you guys?
I think that there were a couple things that I don't know if they like jumped out, so to speak, but there were a couple small things I noticed in terms of this felt more old fashioned than most of the other slashers in terms of it relied a lot more on mystery elements. It wasn't just suspense. It wasn't just jump. You were trying to figure out who is it that's doing this. And they were like slowly seeding this mystery element of you're trying to figure out how you get there and who the figure is and how they play into the larger picture throughout the film, which kind of fades out with slashers eventually of like, it's more just suspense driven.
Once we become more about the icons of the franchise, it's less about mystery. Whereas the golden age of slashers, a lot of them are murder mysteries.
Correct.
But go ahead. Sorry.
And then I also think that this one did a lot more inventive stuff with there's always elements of voyeurism in slasher stuff. I feel like this one really leans heavily into the POV of the killer and having a lot of shadow play of like, you're just never seeing, you're never seeing anything of this person. You're just getting either hints that they're there or some slight like movement of an object or whatever. You're never actually physically seeing them at any point, any part of them, a hand, nothing. You're either seeing them interacting with a thing to the point that somebody else might notice, or you're seeing their POV. You're never actually getting information on them.
An interesting thing about this movie and the score again is if you watch this, when the killer is there, the score kicks in.
Oh, okay.
Right. And the music will kick in when the killer's there. When the killer's not there, there's no music. And sometimes they'll actually even not have music. And then when the killer all of a sudden is there, the music will kick in and it'll be kind of like a jump scare.
Yeah.
But a great example of a time when it's a jump scare, but the killer isn't there is at the archery range, right? Where she's looking at the targets and all of a sudden an arrow, boom, hits the target next to her. She jumps and the audience jumps and everything. No music because it wasn't the killer. It was the goofball, right? Who was firing the arrow at her.
Eddie or whatever his name was.
Yeah. Dickhead.
Yeah.
Ned? Was it Ned?
Ned sounds right.
Ned.
Yeah. Ned.
Fucking
I was close.
Ned.
Eddie,
Sure.
Ned.
Yeah. I was, there's a couple of things that this movie kind of blue balls you on. Like, we never see the end of the strip Monopoly game. It just kind of like, we just don't hear the end of it. Next thing we know, she's in her like 1950s house dress nightgown. Like that's the end of the whole thing. The other one is Eddie dies off screen.
Yes.
How do you have an annoying
I was upset
character?
about that too.
Now, granted, this is before that was a trope in these movies to have the annoying Joker guy, but they kill him off screen. He just kind of shows up when Kevin Bacon's getting laid. And
I like that reveal though. That was pretty dark.
It's a great reveal.
It's super dark. It's a little odd, but it's super dark. Sasha totally called the whole like the blood's gonna drip on him though.
Yeah.
Of like that was going to be the trigger.
The Kevin Bacon kill in this is
so
the
classic.
best kill in the movie.
Yeah.
It's classic.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they screwed it up. When they did that kill, the arrow
Both
comes
of our
through that.
heads tilted in sync.
The spurt of blood. So the blood's supposed to the arrow goes through. He's supposed to it's supposed to flow, right? The blood's supposed to flow on him. And it's because they had a pump going into the hose of blood. The pump broke. And so the guy underneath there, I'm sorry, it wasn't Savini, it was his assistant who was under there. He quickly got the idea to blow into the hose, and that's where you have like that spurt of blood and kind of sprays.
That's cool.
And it ended up being super cool. Yeah, it was like one of those
that's
unforced.
Funny.
It was like those errors that like ends up being classic. So
yeah,
no, that was fun. I could do trivia all day in this movie. I'm going to try and keep it to a minimum so we can get to keep it talking about stuff. But it's so much fun.
Also, real
fun
quick,
to
can we
see
talk about the wingspan
Bacon.
on Mama Voorhees that she can wrap around a bed onto a person on top of the bed? Like, that's a wild reach.
And you were talking about teleportation. She can throw a body through a window, hoof it up the road, get into a Jeep, and then drive back down the last half mile in I clocked about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Before she drove back. I'm a friend of the Christies.
Yeah.
I'm just Mama Voorhees. What? How does that
you're
work?
gonna why are you giving us a whole backstory now? Like you've killed almost everyone off. Why are you like trying to convince her of safety?
Yeah.
No, I'm cool. I'm cool, lady.
No, I'm fine. Come.
And she holds up. By the way, she drops the pretense about 2 minutes into the whole thing too. Like it's not like she keeps it up for long.
Yeah,
like,
but she keeps it up long enough that she's like, let me go investigate the person that I know I killed.
Right.
Like,
right.
What is the logic here?
It's just there to slap to fool the audience. But I will say this for Mama Voorhees. Like, can we talk about Mama Voorhees' hands? Like that woman was throwing down with the strikes.
Oh yeah.
When we had the beach fight. Like, dude,
She was.
She's a feisty
she was
old
really
woman.
good, man.
That beach fight, I forgot about that scene. That was pretty hardcore there.
It was
at the end. I
scrappy.
thought, yeah. That was great.
Mama
I was
Voorhees was throwing hands like a 1978 42nd Street pimp.
I was watching that scene and I'm like, God, that old woman is gonna hurt tomorrow. Like she's like rolling around and like wrestling and
that's the thing. She's good at the stand-up fighting. She's got those hands, but as soon as they go to the ground, she didn't spec into grappling, man. She was no use on the ground whatsoever. There's a hole.
To be
There's
fair,
a hole in her game.
she's got to be like 60. I don't think anybody at that age is great at grappling.
No,
unless you've
how
been-
old would she be? Because if she was a mom,
can throw a body through a window.
Look,
She can
consistency is not this.
stick a dude to a door with arrows through his eye and through his body. Like, come on, man. She's got
what has she been doing? Like, so in the 50s she shut it down after she killed all the counselors. So what was she just like working out every day?
Apparently,
like, practicing on dummies, like in case they come back. Here I am.
She's John Wicking it in the forest, like,
dude. That's it. She was First Blood. She was doing First Blood. She was like Rambo. They drew First Blood, not me.
Oh man,
she's out in the forest.
Through.
Yeah, doing work.
I'm surprised she's not more ripped than she was.
I think that was what it was. Is she was just so tired
She's
by
a
the end of the
sleeper build.
movie.
Yeah.
From like running everywhere and throwing bodies through windows and like hauling ass. Then finally gets to the beach. She's like, I can't. You kids. Too much energy.
To be fair, she's been going all day. She's killed like 8 or 10 people that day.
Yeah.
And it's the middle of the night at this point.
Yeah. When did she stop to go to the bathroom? I mean, it's an intense thing.
Probably after she killed the girl in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Had to get some relief.
Yeah.
After
Take a quick break.
Oh my
Smoke
God.
a
Ryan,
cig.
what did you think about the counselors in this? Being a former counselor yourself, how realistic was this?
Well, first off, granted, I recognize that there is the aspect of that 80s actors look older than their ages, and that people nowadays look a lot younger than they did in the 80s. But first off, none of these people look like they were camp counselor age at all.
Yeah.
The levels of hormones going on definitely is right on the head.
Now that's hold on, stop right there, because damn it, there was all the people complaining about how these movies are all about kids having sex. That's what kids do.
I do think it's not as blatant as it. I mean, obviously it's a movie. They're gonna A, Hollywoodize it, and B, they've only got a limited runtime. So I do think that it's like very condensed, which I can see the argument of like it's not realistic. It's like because you've got 90 minutes to make all this happen.
Yeah, but also butts in seats. Yeah, totally. Yeah,
and to your point, it does happen. It just doesn't happen at that speed, like usually it's spread out amongst the summer and there's like some awkwardness along the way. There's not like, all right, it's raining, let's go find a cabin.
Let's get down to business. Yeah, right now.
Yeah, very much. But that was silly. I do think it was odd how few of them there were. This must be a very, very small camp. But also like although the chef never makes it to the camp, her whole like story about like working with kids or whatever, I'm like, this is super believable. Like this is very much somebody who would be in this situation. I've heard people talk like this. Like this is very much a thing. But yeah, like, and some of it I wonder if it's just 80s stuff of like the owner of the camp being kind of like,
oh no, yeah, super creepy.
There's some stuff that it hasn't aged well. I think the guy who totally sexually assaults his friend because he pretends that he's drowned, and then like they do mouth to mouth and they start making out with her. Like some of that stuff just hasn't aged, and I'm sure is a timely thing. But
he really went far on that joke. That was like
he took it.
That was
He took it a long way.
Although in that whole thing, they're all like, "Oh my God, he's drowning!" and like a couple of them dive him in, and two of them get in a boat, and they're like going out to get him, and then they like pull him out, and the two in the boat are like, "Okay, cool," and just like go back, and it's like, why did you get the boat? Like you brought the boat out to get him out of the water.
Also,
and then it's like, okay, he's fine. Back, put the boat back.
Yeah. Did they know this guy? Wasn't he like their friend?
Yeah, they all. It implied that they all knew each other.
Like, wouldn't you know, like if your buddy like couldn't swim, you're like, hey, let's not leave him alone in the water then. But it's like, aren't they all counselors, and you should probably all know how to swim anyways if you're about to go be a camp counselor?
Now, hold on, Ryan. You can weigh in on this as an outdoorsman. even good swimmers in a cold mountain lake or a cold Jersey lake in this particular case, you can get taken off guard and inhale some water, and next thing you know, you're drowning.
That
right?
and also lakes, like the thing about lakes that I think a lot of people don't realize is lakes vary greatly in depth, and you never know you never know how deep the lake is. But also, even if it's a shallow lake, sometimes like you'll have like seaweed, like moss stuff in the bottom that people's feet can get tangled in. There's like lakes can be sketch. You don't want to fuck around with lakes.
All right, so his joke worked out. It was believable.
I got him. I knew he was gonna go there. This is gonna be a whole bunch of Ryan nature tips. How not to die in nature.
I unintentionally picked a camp movie.
Dude, which is perfect. Also the main guy just like looking at the final girl and being like, "You're very pretty." It's like, whoa. The trucker guy hitting on the chef girl constantly.
Yep.
Like, but that's the thing. Also, this movie's very quaint. It's very quaint and very 80s. Like, remember the times when you could just walk into a little town in the middle of nowhere, New Jersey, with your backpack on your back and walk into a cafe and everyone gives you a dirty look. And then you go, "I need a ride to a camp outside of town." And they're like, "Camp Blood? We can't take you to Camp Blood."
Nobody
People
reacts to the fact that everyone's
there.
like, "Oh, it's Camp Blood." It's like, that's concerning.
But then she goes, "Could you give me a ride?" And they're like, "Sure, little lady.
Yeah.
I'll
I'm
take
heading
you
that
out
way
there.
anyway. I'll drop you off.
And I'm going to hit on you awkwardly a bunch, but also I'm totally safe. I'm not actually going to do anything. I'm actually going to be a total gentleman and drop you off." Like, it's also very kind of like, oh, she's hitchhiking. Oh, isn't that cute? But then, of course, she gets picked up and murdered by the person who picks her up hitchhiking. So maybe that's why we don't do hitchhiking anymore, because of movies like these.
That's part of it. I think also, this is purely conjecture, but I think the fact that hitchhiking is as dangerous for the driver as it is for the passenger, of like, you never know who you're picking up or what they have with them. Like, I think honestly, unironically, I think Ted Bundy had a lot to do with it. I think Ted Bundy picking people up in cars had a lot to do with the end of hitchhiking. Okay, why are you looking at me like this?
You think of Ed Kemper?
No, Ted Bundy would give girls rides and then would take them into the woods and butcher them. That was a whole thing.
Among many other things. He'd also just show up on college campus. I mean, he was an inspiration for a lot of these slasher movies.
But I'm just saying that he was a pure example of like what started as, "Let me just give you a ride," which was kind of viewed as safe. He is kind of a quintessential example of like, oh, a ride isn't always safe. And I think that whole era is what it kind of killed hitchhiking.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, because this movie is kind of right before we go into the franchise horror. It's also before a lot of things become unsafe in the world, and a lot of these slashers were about the nefarious evil forces invading what we thought were safe spaces, right? Your home, your college campus, your sleepaway camp, what have you, right? Places where you're supposed to be safe, but now all of a sudden you're not. And so it's interesting to watch it now. And, this movie got just railed on for being so gory. And you can see gorier stuff on CSI. This movie got so much stuff for being so scary. And I don't know anyone who would even, move at anything in this movie these days. Like, you could show this movie to like a teenager and they would be like, these days. It's nothing like what we have now. It's amazing how far things have evolved since this movie caused an uproar, and you look at it now and it's quaint.
Yeah. And you wanted to say something.
I was just curious, because I feel like a lot of people, when they talk about this movie, you could even pull it in as like being a conservative look at things, of that you're showing teens who are going to go to this movie, look, if you have sex, bad things happen to you. You have sex, you get murdered. And that's kind of what the franchise sort of became. But it was like, the people having sex are the people that then get killed. And so I'm curious about what you guys think, if there is that message in this first one at all.
I think that if this is my take, I think that could be a conclusion drawn. I think that conclusion would not be looking at the whole picture, because like Ned's single and he's flirting with people or whatever, and he definitely sexually assaults his friend. But like, other than like tricking someone into making out with him once, the way he gets murdered is he's trying to be helpful. He's like, hey, can I help you? Like, what are you doing here? Like, can I point you in the right direction or whatever? And so like he's innocent. And then the other one who does the strip poker, the two of them, Bill and what's the
Harry
girl's
Crosby,
name?
Bing Crosby's son, ironically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And Marcy,
one of the ones that turned out normal.
is it Marcy or Brenda, the one that's playing the game with them? I don't remember, but regardless,
Brenda, I believe.
Brenda Jones. Right.
Brenda's the one that goes out to the shooting range at night in the rain in her mama nightgown.
Right, because she hears
gets tossed
through the window. The voice being
the
thrown.
kid. Yeah.
But which by the way is, I think, out of everything in the movie, like one of the creepiest things in the movie is the fact that she can throw her son's voice. But so Brenda and Bill are like, they play strip poker, but to your point, they don't actually strip. And
strip Monopoly. Monopoly.
They don't. Yeah, right. Strip Monopoly. My apologies. No gambling, just board games. But they don't actually get anywhere. And so like they're both, and she like goes back and is like reading a book and is just chilling. Like as far as motivations and like moral narratives, they're pretty clean. And so I feel like it would be kind of a stretch to be like, that's the message. I think it was more like irresponsibility, right? Of just like going around being unsupervised, doing dumb stuff, and not having any responsible adults around. You're at risk.
I think there's been a lot of, obviously there's been a lot of discussion about the meaning of kind of puritanical overtones in slasher movies and in horror movies in general. And I think that a lot of it is unintentional on the part of the filmmakers. They want to have sex and violence in the movies. It gets butts in seats. That's all that they were doing with this movie. They did not think about any deeper themes or meanings or ideas here. This was get butts in seats. That was it. And if the people who happen to be having sex are the ones that are killed, then that's just how it goes. You know, I think that there's something to be said about the fact that final girls tend to be a little bit more innocent and virginal. And that's something that's maybe a societal, subconscious
projection
working on the writers of these movies who tend to be men. But I think that, if you look at like movies made for teenagers going back to the 50s in this country and the 40s, even you can go look back to the 30s, right? Where you have like these wild carousing people. Like, you want to see people that are young, having a good time. There's a thrill to that. And sex and drugs, sometimes at a certain point in our society, got wrapped up in that. And so I think that I don't think that there's a, causal connection there between them doing that and then dying in movies until it becomes a trope. Yes. But it became a trope just because it was just something that you wanted to have sex and violence in these movies. And so that just, it ended up becoming something that was cyclical. So I agree with you, Ryan. I don't think that's something that was meant to be in this movie. It just happens to be there. But you can even look at the fact that there's candy for everybody in this movie, right? You got naked women, mostly naked Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon's out there in his Speedo, right in the camera. Like, they're standing over the guy and there's Kevin Speedo right at eye height.
Let's be super clear. If they were stealing from Halloween, they clearly had better sex scenes in this than Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, the best sex ever.
Yeah.
Go get me a beer.
Yeah. Kevin and Marcy had definitely had sex in their lives before. They knew what they were doing in there. And again, these guys knew what they were doing. Kevin Bacon Speedo right at eye height. And this is, 30 years before we all watched Wild Things and found out that Kevin Bacon was in fact slinging a biblical amount of hog. So they had something for
Ryan
everyone.
has not seen Wild Things.
I have not, and clearly I won't be.
Then you're missing out.
I don't need. Look, I've already seen. I've unfortunately seen William Dafoe's hog. I don't need to see Kevin Bacon's too.
Have you?
What, how did you see that?
Biblical hog.
There's some video of him dancing with some hippie woman, and like that's like the like canon of, because Willem Dafoe is famous for having, as it's put online, an uncomfortably large, an uncomfortably large cod piece, so to speak.
Yeah.
But there's some video of him dancing with some woman in like a music video or something.
One day, you will be unfortunate enough to be forced to watch Antichrist.
No,
on
don't
this
make
show.
him watch that. No,
And
I don't want.
The thing
no.
is, when you watch that, you still will not have seen Willem Dafoe's cock, because apparently in that movie they had to use a stunt cock because his was too large.
That's where the reputation comes from. It's
Yeah.
It's described as uncomfortably large, so they had to give him a fake one because the real one was too disconcerting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, but at Friday the 13th, as much as they complained about this movie, they covered up Kevin Bacon's schlong.
Mhm.
See, and they were complaining about this movie being bad for kids. This is almost like a movie made for Mormons.
Oh my God.
Covering up Kevin Bacon. Unbelievable. Well, boys, we got to
No
get
soaking
to
in this
our
movie.
bits here. Speaking of Kevin Bacon's bits,
Bacon bits.
Who did our
Bacon
bits?
It was right
bacon
there
bits,
the whole time.
God
The whole
damn it.
time.
Ryan got it. Damn it. Who did we hate this movie? Guy Woodhouse Award.
Oh my God.
Who of all the people in this movie, who was the worst? Dan's got
it.
one.
Yeah. Ned.
The Joker.
Ned.
Yeah, the Joker. Yeah. As soon as he's on screen, I was like, kill that guy. Get him off.
He's like
like,
the
he's
best
annoying.
character.
That's a good
He's
point,
the
Dan.
most annoying guy.
We
I'm like,
talk
kill
about
him now.
Final girls becoming tropes in horror movies. The Joker in horror movies, because he's always the guy you want to kill first.
Yeah, it's like his jokes, the way he was like, he almost killed that girl with the arrows. Like, oh, that was funny. I was like, kill that
That
man.
was a dick move. I'll give you that one.
Come on.
The faking being dead. Dick move.
Yes.
I'm just going to camp to
I
try to
agree.
make out with some chicks. Dick
He
move.
did a lot of. I was like, this guy gone, and then they kill him off screen.
Off screen.
That's
I
true.
know.
It's
They
like,
do.
Come on.
I almost want to like say that Sean Cunningham, the director, is the dick because he made it so that the nerd was, or the Joker was killed off screen. Like you take that away from us.
Honestly,
maybe he's the Sean Cunningham.
Maybe
That's what the guy.
I do think worse than the Joker, the class clown, is the camp director. The camp director
really?
is the camp director's flirting with an employee who's
Steve
distinctly
Christie.
younger than him. Like at the beginning. Like we haven't even started camp. We're still in setup mode. And he's like actively flirting alone in private with one of the employees when they've just arrived. Super uncomfy. Then he bails while everyone else is supposed to set up, leaves them all to do it by themselves. As like, hey, I've been like this camp that I own, that I'm trying to put back together after people got murdered, that I've tied you into. You guys set it up. I'm gonna go into town. And then like he implies that he's running errands. The only thing we see him do in town is having a nice diner dinner with the waitress who's also flirting with him, and he's kind of like, heh, and then like ignores essentially.
Yeah.
And he gets a Jeep stuck in the rain. How the hell do you get a Jeep stuck in the rain?
I don't know. Ryan, what do you do when you get a Jeep stuck in the rain?
Yeah, tell us.
You fucking don't. It's a Jeep. What did you do? How deep of a puddle did you drive into to stall the engine on a fucking Jeep? Explain
You've seen
this
Jurassic Park. You've seen Jurassic Park.
That's right. That's what happened. Oh my God. There's always one. There's always one on every show, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh man.
Ryan.
I'm telling you.
Stop the show.
That
This
stopped
puts
us dead.
the brakes on the show.
Jurassic
You
Park?
have not
I am
seen
I haven't
shocked.
seen any of the Jurassic Parks. I haven't seen the old
Jesus.
ones. I haven't seen the new ones. I haven't seen Godfather, Jurassic Park. There's a couple big ones I still haven't hit.
Jurassic Park, like Godfather,
Terminator,
doesn't surprise me. Jurassic
Rambo.
Park, Terminator doesn't surprise me. Rambo doesn't surprise me.
Jurassic Park shocks me. How did you not
that's
seen
like,
Jurassic
wow.
I
Park?
need to see it.
You
I
do
just
need to
haven't
see it.
yet.
All right. So you've got the camp director.
Okay.
Dan is taking Eddie.
Eddie, Nettie.
You guys have kind of taken everybody, except that I'm gonna have to go with the sergeant, the cop that shows up just to be like, you kids smoking your doobies. What do you think you're doing? I know what you're up to.
I was thinking the other police officer, but you're right.
And he can't even ride his bike. He can't even get his motorcycle out of there. Which ironically, the actor actually didn't know how to ride the bike, and so he actually put it down, getting it out of there, and was like, that was real. Is he didn't know how to ride the bike?
Yeah, that U-turn was awkward.
And they kept it in because it's so funny.
Yeah,
it's so perfect.
Really
it's
bad.
a great little character moment. you know.
It reminded me of what is it? I always forget the number, the 876-976 Evil or whatever.
976
when he
Evil,
took off,
yeah.
when he took off on the motorcycle, that part
Yeah.
cracked me up too.
So good. Great
Motorcycle
movie. What a
takeoffs.
fantastic movie, Dan. A good reference.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
even remember
See?
that scene.
Oh my god, that was like one of the funniest parts.
It was 3 seasons ago, Dan. All right, it's
Okay.
the name of the show. This is Why You Died. We got to find out why someone died in one of the classic slashers, Friday the 13th. The first one, pre-Jason, although we do get a little like at the end. Why did someone die in this movie? Let's see. Dan, go ahead, because it's Ryan's movie. He's going to go last.
Oh
Dan, why
my.
did someone die in Friday the 13th?
Let's just choose, I guess.
Throw a dart at the board.
If you are
That was how
alone
Bill
at a
died.
camp, if you have just a few people at a camp, I think you need a pee buddy. Like if you're going
Yeah.
to the bathroom at night, bring somebody with you.
The buddy system.
You gotta have a buddy system,
You
right?
gotta have a
yeah,
buddy
Ryan
system.
knows buddy system at a camp. You gotta
Always have the
it.
buddy
and they're walking
system.
around.
Yeah.
Walking around solo all the time. But definitely the girl that went to the bathroom and
Yeah.
gets murdered. Yeah,
Went alone
that's
in the
why.
forest to go to the bathroom, and you're
Yep.
just asking for it, especially in a slasher movie. I'm
Mhm,
gonna go with Mrs. Voorhees. I kind of talked about it earlier. You know, if you're gonna be throwing hands with a young kid, you got to work on your ground game, and then if nothing else, you know, make like Wu-Tang, protect your neck, because she did not see that coming
She did not
and lost
see
her
that
head.
coming. Oh, man.
Lost her head. Work on your
I'm-
ground game, protect your neck.
I'm going to double up with Dan on the buddy system.
No, hold on. What you need to do, Ryan Ross Live, because this is a movie about camp counselors. This is a movie about being in the wilderness.
Mhm.
I would like it, if you wouldn't mind, if you would please tell us why someone died in this movie as a Ryan's wilderness tips, how not to die in nature.
Well, I gotta pick
This
a
is why you
different
died in
one.
nature.
Because I was going to go Bill, but Bill kind of dies by the generator, which isn't very nature-y. Honestly, which was it? Brenda goes out to the archery range. Okay.
Yeah.
Look,
In the middle of a rainstorm.
it is raining. I get it. There's a child calling for help. I understand you hear a child calling for help. And there should not be children at the camp. But to Dan's point, the buddy system, you know where 2 other people are for sure. You left the building with 2 other people. If you hear somebody calling out for help in the woods, you should go get reinforcements. You should get a light, and you should have a search party. You should gather up everybody. You should have lights, and you should go search for the noise that you heard. But if you go alone and you go in your nightie in the rain, you're going to get hypothermia. You're going to get soaked, and apparently you're going to get murdered by Mama Voorhees. These are the risks that you take when you don't use the buddy system and you don't change into layers before you go out into
Right.
the raining deluge of a rainstorm.
Yeah, and can I add one? If you're gonna go out into the rainstorm in a nightgown, at least go out in one that's see-through. This is a horror movie, lady. Come on. We're here for certain reasons, and you going out in like a fully like 2-inch thick cotton like Walmart nightie there is not. It's not helping anybody. It's not helping anybody. It's not helping you. It's not helping us.
They didn't have that in the
Oh,
budget.
man.
No.
Yeah.
No. Sadly, no. They really didn't. This movie only cost like $500,000.
Wow.
But it made $60 million. 60.
Wow.
$60 million.
Incredible.
You know that's, and they were
Good
like,
for
we're
them.
coming back next year
Yeah.
with this shit.
Yeah, they are.
Whew, what a gamble. And that's why people were gambling on horror movies. There was in the time between Halloween and 1984, there was over 100 slasher movies made.
Wow.
Because of Halloween and this movie. They were just like,
amazing.
hey,
Oh.
if we got $500,000, roll the dice. Between
Wow.
Halloween and this both costing nothing and making a shit ton of money. They were like, let's go. All right, Scully Awards. It's time to rate Friday the 13th. This is going to be interesting because it's not really what we think of as a Friday the 13th movie, as Ryan found out.
Right.
It's kind of like, it's just like a typical slasher movie. So how do we rate this? Do we incorporate in kind of the legacy of Friday the 13th, the fact that it created this series, or do we just rate it on its own merits? It's going to be kind of interesting. Dan Martimatis, why don't you kick it off? What did you think? Well, how many times have you seen this movie? Like 4 or 5 times?
No, not
Maybe?
even. Not even
Wow.
that many. I would probably say this was probably just my second viewing because, like, it's one of those things. It's such a pop culture movie that you already know the killer. Like, it's the first thing you learn about Friday the 13th. If you dive in a little bit deeper than like if you see like a 3 or a 4 and you're like, oh, that's cool, and you start researching the past, you immediately hear about it. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like that. That was why I only watched it a couple times. The 1 or 2 times. So that's, I don't know. So I will rate it based off of. Oh, before I rate it, I do want to say, because you dropped something that I totally forgot, but I love that there was a generator in it, and I was like, oh, is this where they got the generator from? Like, is that the inspiration? I thought that was great.
I don't know. It could be. That's hilarious. I didn't even think about that. 3 dudes
just standing around a generator going, well, if we fix it, then we'll be all right. And I was like, oh, this is like Dead by. This is great.
That's
so. Anyways,
that's a good call.
What should?
Yeah. I'm gonna base it on this, not on like what it became and how much it influenced it, but based off of it itself. And I mean, like, the acting's pretty cheesy. The storyline's very simple. But like, when you do think about it, it is a very like tragic story. It's a lot deeper than a traditional, I think, slasher goes. It felt a lot more Hitchcockian than I remember it being. It felt a lot more like a love letter to the Giallos. It also ripped off a ton of stuff too. That like I mean, like, we didn't even mention it, but there was so much of like Black Christmas in this, which like that POV and showing so much more of it. The voice stuff, like, once you see Black Christmas, Ryan, when we get to that, the throwing of voices and the voice thing is kind of already in that movie too. So I'm gonna go with like a 7, I think. I know it probably should be higher because of what it is, like but I think that's what it became. It's like, it becomes Jason, it becomes this big franchisey thing that like sets these, all these like all the tropes that we now have. But I think for this film as itself, it just took so much of what already was great about slashers and stuff in the past and kind of rolled it into it. But I do really appreciate that the twist is really, it feels unique, like a female, a mom killing people, like, and that tragic ending does elevate it, make it stronger. But I think overall, it's just like, I wasn't really ever scared. It was more laughing at stuff. Sure. So that's where I give it. That's why I'm at my 7.
And actually, Dan, I for the most part, I agree with you. I think that it is, it is kind of a victim of its own sources and how much of a ripoff it was. But I also think that I'm going to give it a couple of extra merits for being somewhat original, even in its rip-offedness, in its derivativeness. I think that, like you said, the killer is very unique, and how they manage it is very unique. I think that there's a lot of stylistic decisions that they make in this movie that elevated above some of the more like basic slashers that came afterwards. And I'm comparing it to a lot of its brethren and sisterin at the time, like the other slashers that came out around the same era. And it is just, even if you take the whole franchise out of the picture and just say it's a normal slasher, it's still in some ways better than those. The acting is more naturalistic. Like, it's very breezy. It moves along from one scene to the next. Everything makes sense as it goes. The way that it shows kind of the through line of the characters works. People make, for the most part, fairly logical decisions. Like, there's a lot of things in the movie that, if you look at a lot of other movies very similar to this one, they don't have the same level of execution. Even as much as this is a cheapy movie that they were throwing together and had a lot of like a tough time making while they were making it, it does kind of elevate above a lot of the other movies like it. So, and then throwing into the mix what it became afterwards. And I'm actually going to go for a 7.5. I would say a 7 as well. And I'm throwing that 0.5 in just because I think this time, especially watching it, I really did appreciate more of the things that it did right. As much as it is a very slight movie at the end of the day, it does a lot of things right. And it's still, I think, pretty watchable. So yeah, I had a good time watching Friday the 13th one more time. Ryan Ross Live, your first time, however, watching Friday the 13th. And I'm dying to know if you loved or hated this movie or were kind of a meh.
I'm surprised that I'm going to be the highest score on the show.
Whoa! Shut up.
I didn't love this movie. But I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was a good movie. I thought that a lot, to Ian's point, I think that a lot of the decisions make sense. There are a couple that don't. I think the ending out of everything feels the weakest to me, of like, she escapes and she puts herself on a raft and floats in the lake until the storm's over is weird, and the whole hospital.
So no one can get you. If there's anyone on the earth, like, she can see anyone coming together out there.
That's true, but also she
doesn't know Jason's in the lake.
Well, yes, but you could just lock yourself in a room, or you could take the car that clearly Mama Voorhees left behind. There's a lot of options that make more sense than I'm going to go float in the middle of the lake for the rest of the evening. And also, I think that the jump scare into the hospital feels weirdly paced, of like, you have the jump scare and then you've got this like kind of creepy, like, there wasn't a boy. Ooh, weirdness.
Well, no,
at the
it's
end.
like, no, we what are you talking about? Like, you didn't, the jump scare didn't happen, and she goes, then he's still there. It's like, how does that make sense?
Yeah,
Right.
It's like, in general, it's a weird ending, but I think that for and there's a couple weird scenes amongst the movie along the way, but I think for the most part, it makes sense. Everyone kind of has a purpose. I thought that the like, there were a couple, like, I like the way that they did the kind of observational shots of like looking from the woods and looking around trees and whatever.
Yeah,
although
stuff.
Although there was some of them that, like, there was one that I think really early where the main girl is walking away from the director. She like comes like right up to the tree, and you're like, whoever's watching is like, you could practically touch them. They're right there.
Yeah, she's blowing in her ear.
Yeah, exactly. There's like there's some silly stuff, but overall, like, I think it's a pretty good movie. I thought that the slasher elements were good. There's a number of really good kills in it. I think that the death reveals are all pretty stellar, and I don't think that there's any that really fall too terribly flat. And I thought the twist was good. I had forgotten, and I did know that it was Jason's mom. I didn't know the context, but like, having it eventually reveal still felt satisfying. All of her kills up until that point kept the mystery. And I liked it. I'm giving it an 8.
Wow.
Nice.
Very good. Yeah, can we shout out Betsy Palmer as Pamela Voorhees, Mama Voorhees?
Pamela.
Because she was disturbing. Like, she was, it's even though she thought the script was, quote, a piece of shit, and did this movie because her car had gotten into an accident and she needed the money to fix her car. Literally the only reason she did this movie.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
But yet, and it became the movie that defined her career. She was known as being like wholesome housewife on TV and Broadway and theater and whatnot. And then she did this movie on a lark. And later
she
she's
probably
like,
hates that.
She was very cool about the franchise for a while. In fact, she asked for a lot of money to come back for Freddy versus Jason, and they were like, we'll just get a look-alike.
Oh.
But she was like, she was annoyed about it for a while, and at a certain point she's like, I am kind of glad that people, think fondly of it. But definitely had a bit of a
That's a very old person political answer. That's what that is. That's like the 1940s, like polite. I'm just so glad that people like it.
At a certain point, she's like, they're paying me how much to come to a convention? Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Friday the 13th. Fuck yeah. Best 10 days of my life. She worked 10 days, $1,000 a day. Best 10 days of my life.
Good for her.
Yeah, and if you guys want more trivia, go check out Crystal Lake Memories. It's a fantastic, all-inclusive documentary in the making of this movie and then the rest of the franchise. Really awesome.
What's it on?
Awesome. Huge documentary.
I'm very curious if we will get the backstory of who she is and all that, because I think they shot it, or they're in production of the prequel series called what's it called? Crystal Lake?
Crystal Lake.
Called Crystal Lake? Yeah. So it's the prequel story before Jason, right? It's all.
I think that there's a lot of meat there. I would love to see that. I mean, and I think you could have a more interesting kind of, maybe even Stephen King-ish kind of backstory. To the whole proceedings, as opposed to Freddy Krueger's mom, who was the nun who was raped by 1,000 madmen or whatever, 100 madmen.
Oh God.
But that's a whole different story. We'll get to that franchise another time. Right now, we got to talk about what Ryan Ross Live is going to be talking about next, because he's out of a prompt. He has used his prompt on Friday the 13th.
He's got his little baby coffin.
Got my coffin.
Hold on a second, stat man. What other movies did you rate an 8? I want to know how this ranks with your movies.
Tigers Are Not Afraid, I gave an 8.
Wow. Wow. You rated this the same as Tigers Are Not Afraid?
Yeah. Iron Lung and Sallow were 8s. The original Dawn of the Dead The First Omen,
Damn.
The Ritual.
Damn. You're putting this
And,
movie in some
like,
He
good
really likes
company.
this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I said, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Scream.
I'm
Okay.
not
Oh,
saying
man.
it's because it's a movie about camp counselors, and Ryan was a camp counselor.
I will
for
say
7
the
years.
camp elements did add to it for me. I did it added to the creep factor because I could relate very heavily to the scenery.
That makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
makes
And like
That's cool.
the way that they interact with like the sink scene, the one sink not really working, is like a super dumb thing. And I was like, that's so realistic. That's so
Oh,
good.
wow.
That's so good.
I
That they just have this
knew it.
one sink
Yeah.
that like just doesn't quite work. And I'm like,
We should've watched
that's probably
this.
just the set. That probably wasn't like a bit. That was probably
Oh my
just them.
God.
Like,
we should have watched this with Ryan so he
Yes.
could like live commentary the things that are realistic about being at a camp and not that they got right.
It now makes me want to watch more Friday the 13th movies, like with Ryan through Ryan's lens of insight. 'Cause he's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Friday the 13th,
Well,
the first one's like a
I-
documentary of my life.
You were saying the doc. Where's the doc on? Because I want to go watch that.
I don't know if it's still on Shudder. It was for a minute.
Okay.
It might be on Paramount Plus. I know Paramount used to have the rights, the domestic rights. Warner Brothers had the international rights. I don't know where it is now, to be honest with you. I just have it on Blu-ray behind me, so I just
Got it.
I don't know where it is.
Fair enough.
But well, yeah. So Dan, what are we going to hear about? What's your prompt that you're sitting
My
on? We're going to
prompt
hear about
is
soon.
Woods.
All right, we're going to hear about that in a
Woods.
second. And I'm sitting on. Speaking of slashers, I'm sitting on Jamie Lee Curtis,
Oh my.
which we'll find out what that is on the next episode. But Ryan's reaching into his little coffin bucket of the beast. He's drawing out very carefully. He's
I'm
drawing out his
trying to
next
get
prompt.
one.
No.
Oh
What do we
God.
got?
Oh no.
Stench.
Stench.
Oh, that's a good one. That's really
That's
good.
a hard one.
That's really good. It is
No,
very
Stench.
hard for you. I think that if one of us had it,
Exactly.
I
that.
think that if Ian or I had it, there's so many awesome choices.
Do
But
I?
like for
I think with Ryan using his best friend Google will have an interesting time coming up with brainstorming movies on that. I really do think that that's going to be a fun one for him to
Is
figure out.
that well? Now here's the question: is like, am I excited enough about Stench?
Oh,
is it time
he,
for
I don't know if I
too?
want. I don't know if I
is he
want
using one of his
Stench.
powers?
Let's see.
You
what-
have it.
This is episode.
I've used my slash. Ryan still has his slash. Dan,
Use
you still
your
have
slash.
your slash,
And I also have
Ryan,
my other-
Ryan has
I still have
the
the
hex
hex.
power.
So you know what? I'm gonna save
Oh.
my hex, but I'm gonna slash Stench because fuck Stench.
Oh,
like,
wow.
I-
oh no!
don't get me wrong,
that means
oh,
that you
there-
and I
all
could
right,
get it.
Stench is
Let's
a
make
good
it official.
prompt.
Ryan, make it official. Tell me you're
I
going to
am
slash.
slashing my prompt.
No!
All right, so let me,
Oh,
hold on,
there
let me
it is.
shuffle it.
Oh,
that way I
bye-bye.
get a.
Oh, he did it.
Bye bye, Stench.
Watch, he's
He did
gonna
it.
get stench again. Watch.
He's
What
gonna get
happens
smelly.
then?
Yeah, right. He's gonna
Ooh,
get stinky.
way better.
Oh,
Way
that's a good
better.
one. Okay.
Oh, it was good. It was worth
I
the
got-
gamble.
Vanish.
Smelly. Oh, vanish.
Vanish. Which I feel like is way more flexible and way more interesting. So I'm gonna stick
Dan
with
and I are
Vanish.
looking at each other right now because we're just thinking add an ing to that, and we're on. We're
Just
on, baby.
Do it, Ryan.
Come on.
Just do the literal name.
Do the
Just
literal
please
name.
do the literal name.
Woo.
That'd
Don't
be a
even think about it.
That'd
You
be
see,
spicy.
here's the thing though. I gotta be honest. When you guys do that, it makes me really want to do something else.
I
Just to
know.
surprise you
I
guys.
know.
I
We
Just
can't
to, like,
help
come-
ourselves.
Just to go in a different direction and to like
We're nerds. We
Yeah.
can't
That's the
help
thing.
ourselves.
It's like you guys have a gut reaction to a thing because you know it, and then I don't know, and you're all excited about the thing, and then I'm like, well, now I got to find something that like is a different thing than what they're excited about
Yes.
to pivot their
It's like-
expectations.
It's
Yes.
like if
It
Ryan
becomes a challenge.
I got Ring, and we're like, choose the movie.
I know.
I got
But it's-
circle.
I'm not saying
I got
that you
well.
have to do the Invisible Man, but I will say maybe this early in the show avoid Hollow Man. Speaking of Kevin Bacon,
Don't do.
Maybe,
Don't
yeah,
ever do Hollow.
maybe-
I don't know
don't-
that one,
don't do that.
so
good.
I'll probably
Well,
try.
in
It's
case
fine.
in case Google points you in that direction, just we'll let that one slide for now. But all right, so
Yeah,
Ryan
that's a
now
good one.
sitting
Wrong with it?
on Vanish. It's just not good. It's
Okay.
it's not a good one.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
It's not great.
They tried.
Yeah, they tried.
And
They
it's not
tried.
even like it's not so bad. It's good, bad. It's
no.
just bad.
Do you
No,
want to
it's just
see
bad.
Invisible Kevin Bacon be rapey? You can see that.
Good. That sounds
Yes.
thrilling.
Mm.
Just what
Yeah,
I
no,
want
yes.
to spend my time doing.
Yeah,
That's the movie.
people gave Paul Verhoeven money to make it though, so who knows? All right, so Dan, it is now your time to reveal what we're watching for Woods for the next episode. What do we got coming up?
Let me take you on a little journey of my brain.
Okay.
Oh,
So
I'm always down for brain
I-
journeys.
I got Woods, and I immediately thought, let's go find the Blair Witch. And I was like, okay, this is my opportunity to go to the woods. We'll do Blair Witch. But I was like, no, let's not do that. Let's hold up, because we had just finished Evil Dead 2. So I thought, it'd be great to go to Cabin in the Woods, which is a celebration of horror and the tropes, and
A
it twists
classic.
things. I'm like, that'd be a great one. And then a little movie was just released in theaters. That's not such a little movie. It's now becoming such a buzzy, good horror movie. And we are going to the woods of Ireland.
Oh,
to see
hell
Ireland.
yes.
Hokum.
Yes, thank you, Dan.
Hokum. We are
Thank
watching
you,
Hokum.
Dan.
Brand new. Is it, what's his name? Dylan McCarthy?
Daniel McCarthy? Damian
No,
McCarthy.
it's Damian McCarthy.
Damian McCarthy.
Damian McCarthy's third feature, and it's supposed to be fantastic. And I love me some Adam Scott.
Adam Scott.
So let's bring
Adam
it on.
Scott, like Parks and Rec Adam Scott?
Yeah.
Severance Adam
Severance.
Scott.
Yeah,
Yes.
that Adam Scott.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Who's becoming a very good horror darling to the horror community. They're loving Adam Scott now. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see.
I
and
know
talk
nothing
Hokum.
about this. What's it about?
I'm not telling you. You go in,
just
blind.
Go blind and
Go
go watch
blind.
it.
I have also.
I know very little too. It's like I don't want to. I want to go.
Like Hocus Pocus Hokum?
Yep.
like bull crap, like
Yeah.
like Blarney, like nonsense.
Yes.
Okay.
Like that's bull crap.
It's a bunch of Hokum. That's about
Yeah,
Mhm.
bunkum.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a great call. I loved Caveat. I didn't love Oddity, but I thought it was very unique and a good horror movie. So I've been psyched about this, Dan. I didn't think I was going to get to see it in the theaters. Now I have to.
Now you have to.
So now I have to. So thank you for forcing me to. I appreciate
Of
that.
course. I
and
wanted to see a
Ryan-
new movie too. I thought that would be cool to get, and we've seen some classics, so
Hell
let's
yeah.
do brand new.
I love it.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of classics lately. Been a while since we've done a brand new one. And Ryan, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think you might dig this because of the style of horror movies that Damian McCarthy is known for. So I'm hoping this is more of the same and he doesn't suddenly like change his style. But if he does
I don't
movies
know
like
anything
Caveat and
about his
Oddity,
style, so
Yeah.
Well,
he could turn it upside down and I'd have no idea.
well, you're gonna find out. So great. So Hokum on the next
Hokum.
episode of This Is Why You Died. Fantastic. Well, on the way out the door of the theater, gentlemen, we got to do some business. So let's knock out the business and let's head towards the exits. Dan, tell them about where they can find us online.
Beacons.ai/TIWYD pod is where you can get all the links to listen to us or watch us on YouTube, and you can find our merch store and buy a bunch of merch. I'm not wearing merch right now, but if you're listening to us, pretend that I am.
You're wearing a Crystal Lake shirt.
yeah,
That's
it's-
merchy.
It's
Yeah.
close enough.
That's merchy.
Right, yeah.
And on the Beacons page, you can also find our Patreon. We have a Patreon.
What?
We have a bunch of different tiers available, each of which comes with exclusive perks. All patrons get access to our community Discord, where you get to interact with us and each other.
Yes.
And we take suggestions for bonus content. We take suggestions for merch. We take suggestions for episodes. We interact and get to know all the community. So please, if you are a patron, check that out. It is a perk that everybody has as patrons, but then you also get additional perks based off of each tier. So we have bonus content that we send to the patrons every month. We have extended episodes before and after every episode. We have a pre and post show where we talk about random bullshit like apple butter cocktails.
Random bullshit.
It's true, and
Apple
it's entertaining
butter
random
cocktails.
bullshit. You get to hang out with us.
The accented editions get chaotic. That's
You
very
get
true.
to hang out with us, and they're always super fun. And our top tier is our dedicated benefactors, which the perk for that is you get a personalized shout out every single episode of the show. So we would like to shout out our dedicated benefactor, CG.
Hey, CG.
Thank you so much for the support. Thank you,
CG.
all the patrons for your support. We really appreciate you supporting the show. It does make a difference. We're able to improve the show with the funds from the Patreon, and we have checkpoints that if we get certain amounts of patrons, we're going to improve the show in various ways, including adding additional possessions, potentially working towards recording live so that you guys can tune in while we record, and even eventually, hopefully, getting to the point that we can record in person in a room, and all be able to jump across the table at each other when we piss each other off. So these are the type of things we hope to do, and all the patrons really make a difference. But even if you don't choose to support financially, just listening to the show means the world and spending time with us. Dude. So thank you for being a part of this community and hanging out with us.
Much appreciated in any way. And if you guys make it this deep in the show, we love you very much. Thank you so much for checking out This Is Why You Died. We have a fun time making it. We have a fun time hanging with you guys and just chopping up stuff about horror. A lot of fun. So we appreciate you guys very much. Yeah. So we're going to go and do the extended edition now. If you're a patron, you can check that out. But aside from that, we'll see you next time. We got a Hokum, a great one. Thank you, Dan. We're going to watch Hokum on the next episode. But yeah, that's going to be it. For Dan March of Madness, for Ryan Ross Live, I am Sir Ian Dangers. We will see you next time right here on
This Is Why You Die.